Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're taking double 6+ V2 AOKIJI into the Forest of Training. Magnetic, the hardest forest in the game. That's the team, those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Alright, so we're zooming all the way to stage 11 against Apu, and against Apu he actually gives us paralysis. Thank you to the support of Ryoiin on our Kinemon Denjiro. We can actually get around that. Now, as you guys saw there, I actually had the super switch. That's not essential. I actually just started as the wrong variation of Kinemon Denjiro. So whatever I started with, if you are trying this team, just swap with the other version, because like you kind of want Kinemon Denjiro to be in the Psy variation when we need their super switch on the X Drake page 1 and Killer stage. Not Killer. Hawken stage, but nevertheless, I'll explain that once we get there. Once we get there, we want to, like, to the beach stage. Basically, you want to have your Whitebeard and Roger and your Kinemon Denjiro super switches in line with each other. It's fairly important that you actually do that, because you want their super switches on the exact same stage. Now, against the Fire Tank Pirates here, we are going to pop our friend Captain V2 AOKIJI special, and this particular piece of content is, like, the big reason I wanted to take him into a forest is because I wanted to showcase that 20 orb mechanic that has been introduced with V2 AOKIJI. I feel like I put a lot of shit on the unit, to be honest, with my showcase video. If you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below. But I don't think this guy's bad. Like I want to make that very apparent. I don't think this guy's bad. I just think that there's just way better options. And hypothetically, if you were running this particular team, like you'd be running a friend captain Yamato 6+. Like, why would you not? Now, my friend captain is Limit Break expanded. That is something to note. Shout out to Christy for all the resets for me. So I do appreciate you, homie. Thank you so much. But nevertheless, like, you would just run like a friend captain Yamato, and it would actually run a lot smoother. On the Heroic stage, we are going to use Kinemon Dendro special here to remove the defense up. I was trying Rare Recruit Queen to make it a bit more like challenging, but once I got to the final stage, like, I just didn't have the damage output because of the whole 2 special shenanigans. So with the super switch of Kinemon Dendro, you get 50% more damage with Roger. Their final tap just goes burr, and then you just good as gold from there. As you'll see there, we do manage to take out your rogue fairly nicely, and then we can move on to the heat, and I can't remember the other dude's name. Now, this stage is normally a bit annoying for most teams, because you do have to stall. You get a whole bunch of special reverse, as well as you get burn on the third turn, the second turn, or something like that from heat. He also makes all orbs unfavorable, and you get 4 turns of special bind. With the switchability of Shoutout Manchari, we can start removing that special bind. But the beautiful thing about using Roger on this particular team, if you guys saw my X-Drake showcase, or against this, I actually don't know what order I'm releasing the videos, but we can actually stall on the next turn because Roger's not getting a buff underneath AOKIJI, which means we can stall out the damage reduction, which works really nicely. So the special bind's not that big of an issue. Even though we can remove it, it's not that big of an issue. To get through their barriers, we have Barrier Pen with our V2 AOKIJIs, as well as actually gaining the Int Orbs as they give us a full board of unfavorable slots on this particular stage. Now, this whole team is actually Slasher and Striker, which means Int Orbs are actually favorable. So we don't actually have negative orbs for this entire team, which works out really, really nicely. Unless we're talking like the quick variations of Shoutout Manchari and Kinemon Dendro, then I guess we do. But other than that, we basically have like all the orbs we need. Funny enough, we're actually using the Dolph Grudge as our ship as well, because we are running a Striker / team. I think this is the first time I've ever used this ship in like hard content. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, like that Hawken ship, for like how annoying that forest is, it's just not worth it. But in this particular situation, it actually came in clutch. Now, as you'll see against Killer now, we are basically just stalling out that Rainbow Shield. There is 5 turns of it, and because Roger doesn't actually get buffed under AOKIJI, we are basically just doing like 4 damage, which means then he reflects 9 times that, and we take like 32 damage every turn. We're actually healing back more with our ship, our auto heal, and the switchability of Shoutout Manchari. But once we do like get rid of we stall out the Rainbow Shield, we do actually want to stall 1 more turn for Kinemon Dendro's special to be ready for that I keep doing that, for the page 1 Hawkins and X-Drake stage. The downside is when you actually stall 1 extra turn after Killer, he starts doing a lot more damage than just his counter mechanic, or his counter mechanic actually changes. And as you'll see here, we actually take a shit ton of damage. Like, we take a butt ton of damage, like almost 60k. But lucky for us, we had all that healing from V2 Shoutout Manchari. I actually sort of like freaked out because I never really noticed it until like this particular run. But as you'll see, we've actually lined up our super switch abilities of our Roger and our Kinemon Dendro, and that way, once we reach that annoying X-Drake page 1 and Hawkins stage, we can actually just tear through it. And I kind of stuffed this run up, and I managed to salvage it, and it got it done. So that was actually pretty cool. On this stage here, reload if Beckman gets blinded, as you need Beckman's special to remove the blind on this particular stage. Again, if you guys checked out the X-Drake version of the this particular run, I don't know what order I'm releasing these videos, but I actually used a Ben Beckman on that team as well, a different Ben Beckman, because of the Markano support. So it actually works really, really nicely having Ben Beckman on most of these teams. This Ben Beckman's still a striker, but he's also a Psy unit, which means he gets buffed on AOKIJI, which is great. As you'll see now, we have our super switches lined up, and as I mentioned, you kind of want to be Denjiro so you can switch into Kinemon on the next stage. The next stage, like, Big Mom just gets absolutely destroyed here thanks to the AOKIJI special. And as you guys will actually see, with AOKIJI, we actually got all of our cooldowns back because we'd eaten 20 orbs. If you eat 20 quick or Psy orbs, you can actually get the 12 turns of cooldown, and that happens every time you eat 20 orbs. So you can get it multiple times through content, and with this particular run, we actually do get it multiple times, which is actually pretty cool because there's no red Haki throughout the whole forest either. So it actually was a really good showcase of that new ability. I don't think it's a great ability. I honestly, I don't. I think it's quite dookie, to be honest. But I did want to find a place where we could showcase it, and the Kid Forest was actually the best place to do that. To remove the defense up on this Hawkins stage, we can use Kinemon Denjiro special. They give us base stats to our slashes and our free spirit characters. We do have the super switch of Wadja, basically to guarantee us a 2x attack and orb boost for the entire team. That base stat boost is only going to work for Wadja, but that's okay. We only want it to work for Wadja because, well, we want it to work for everyone else, but we want the orb boost and the attack boost that the super switch gives for everyone. Because as you'll see, we're not doing that much damage until we start hitting with those strikers, sorry, those slasher units. So ideally, you want to take out Hawkins, and if you can get like very good with your switches, you want to switch and you want to actually take out page 1. Now, I couldn't. It's a little too finicky for me, but when page 1 blows away a unit, you can actually reload the app, and he'll always blow away your middle left. So that's why I put Ben Beckman there, because like I don't need Ben Beckman for the rest of the run, funny enough. But with our AOKIJI special, on the second turn, with the Akainu support, we can not only give ourselves an attack buff, we can actually get a chain lock as well. Utilizing AOKIJI's very annoying like mechanic where you have to hit with a Psy and then a quick unit can be very, very annoying, especially because you like, especially like there, right? We'd want to start with our quick units because like quick units don't do a lot of damage, but you do want that 5x multiplier thanks to the friend captain of AOKIJI. Once we basically take out that stage, we move into the king stage, and if you do take some damage there, don't stress. You just don't want to lose your captain to lose too much HP against X-Drake page 1, or against basically page 1. So that way when we move into the king stage, we're going to lose a whole bunch of HP anyway. We do get despaired. We cop 4 turns of ship bind as well, which is very, very frustrating. As well as having, there's a bunch of defensive effects, 3 turns of damage reduction and threshold. We basically just need to stall the first turn, remove the despair thanks to the switch abilities of Shirahoshi Mancherry, and then on the second turn, there'll be a quick barrier. When you switch into Shirahoshi, you want to pop one of your AOKIJI specials here as well. You're going to give yourself a full board of orbs, and you're going to guarantee yourself 1 quick orb on Shirahoshi. You can then switch with Whitebeard and Roger, and with that switch ability of Whitebeard and Roger, you can give yourself an orb boost as well. That's going to allow us to do a lot of damage to King, like a lot of damage. The downside to AOKIJI's captain ability is here, we actually need to hit with a Psy character first to break the barrier, right? Well, to start the captain multiplier. But to break the barrier, we need a quick orb, which is, like, ideally what we want to use first. Beautiful thing is, AOKIJI has Barrier Pen, which, like, it's not a saving grace, but it does allow us to actually do some damage with that first shot. So using the Barrier Pen mechanic from AOKIJI works really nicely to sort of, like, bypass that. So we're going to attack with our AOKIJI first, break the barrier, and then we're going to start attacking. Make sure to hit with your slashes last, because they actually have the the slasher resistance like down, and we can do about like just over half of King's HP. It allows us to tank 1 more shot, and then on the next turn, we can actually like use the Shirahoshi Mancherry special if we need to. If you can tank 1 more shot, go for it. For me, I got really, really lucky, and I actually got a Int Orb on my Kinemon Denjiro. I don't think that is essential to make the run work. It just allowed me to do a little bit of extra damage here, but I do think if you just sort of like switch with or just even pop the Shirahoshi Mancherry special, that's going to allow you to, well, if you switch and then pop it and then switch with Kinemon Denjiro, that's going to work as well. That way you get the slasher resistance and stuff like that. But ideally what you want to do is when you use the Shirahoshi Mancherry special, is you get a chain boost and then attack with your 2 AOKIJIs last, so that way you can actually get the barrier pen mechanic to kick in, and thanks to the 1.5 times orbs and attack from Roger, we should be able to do a lot of extra damage here. Ideally, you want to start trying to like sync up your super switches once again, but as long as you can get the super switch of Kinemon Dendro back on the final turn against Kid, it's not going to matter too much. The super switch of Roger, like, you can use anywhere ance, because ideally we're going to have the AOKIJI attack boost and then the Roger orb boost, so their super switches are going to matter for the final stage. You can use it on Kaido on this particular stage, but as long as you have that super switch ready to go from Kinemon and Dendro, that is the most important part. Against Kaido, things start to get a little bit shaky, as he's an in character, but on the first turn, your side characters won't be able to do any damage, which sucks. It actually sucks. So we are going to try and do as much damage as we possibly can with our 2 quick units, being Shirahoshi Mancherry, as well as Kinemon Dendro. The downside is you still have to hit with a quick character second, which means you just lose a lot of damage because, like, they're not hitting in the back end of the chain. On the second turn, you'll take 5 turns of a burn, so be very mindful of that, and that burn is like 25k. However, we can now start hitting with our Psy characters, which is very, very nice, because they have type advantage. Make sure you are switching with Kinemon Dendro. I know Kinemon Dendro is a Psy character, and you probably have that urge to, like, make sure they stay Psy, but you do need that super switch by that final stage just so Roger can hit absolutely insanely hard. Remember, you will have a lot of HP thanks to the special of Shirahoshi Mancherry on the previous turn as well, so you can start tanking these shots from Kaido. You can only use 2 specials for the next 10 turns as well, so, like, it gets a little bit shaky as we don't have any color affinity against Kid on the final stage as well. So that just be mindful of that, as things can get very, very annoying or very, very dicey on that final stage. Now, my Roger, it's only final tap level 1. Don't stress. You don't need a big boy wailing Roger. They're just here because, like, their switch is just so powerful, man. Like, it's so powerful. I didn't actually use it on this turn because I did have to stall an extra turn for the Kinemon Dendro super switch. But once you get that 2 times attack and that 2 times orbs to kick in, like, you just start putting crazy numbers. Be very, very careful of that burn, though. I have to make that, like, very well known. That burn is like 25k. It will kill you if you hit it perfect. So make sure you are just hitting your greats. Try and whittle Kaido down, as you can see there. And once you get to the final stage, you are going to be really, really hunky. Like, you're going to be hunky-dory. Like, no cap. Well, as I was doing this run, as I mentioned, I kind of, like, blundered a little bit. You can use the Roger special on the, what's it called stage? The Killer X-Dragon Page 1 stage to actually just guarantee yourself more damage, like a 3 times orb or a 3 times attack boost. That should help you guys out drastically, especially if you have the Mihawk support. But if you don't have that Mihawk support, don't stress. It is not essential at all. It was just to give myself cooldowns, but on this run, like I mentioned, I blundered it, and I wanted the 2 extra cooldowns just in case. Use Odin, maybe. That's another option for you guys, so, like, you can do shenanigans like that. Nevertheless, as you guys saw with my run, we actually managed to salvage the Roger special for the entire turn, like the entire forest. So it didn't matter at all, really. If you want to, though, if you do have Mihawk and you do want to try this team, I would highly recommend using the Roger special a little bit earlier, just so you get more damage there. But as you guys will see, like we did fairly well without it. And the fact that V2 AOKIJI could clear, in my opinion, the hardest piece of content in the entire game, without type affinity as well, by the way, like, mind you. This and sort of Dofi 2, in my eyes, is sort of like the hardest pieces of content. Hawkins Forest is definitely up there, but with the ability to sort of cheese the Hawkins Forest with, like, Meat Orb, like, and then locking orbs and stuff, I don't think it's nearly as tricky as something like the Kid Forest. Kid obviously gets ass blasted by strength characters, but when you don't have access to strength characters, like, it becomes a whole different story. 2.25 times attack thanks to AOKIJI, 50% extra damage to slashes thanks to Kinemon Dendro, 3 times orbs to Roger, and that amazing final tap ability means we absolutely decimate our boy Yota's Kid, and we can say goodbye to the Magnetic Forest. Thank you very much. So there you guys go. 30 million. I think that's just enough damage. Or 25 million, I think is what you need. But there you guys go. That was V2 AOKIJI, the proper showcase. Double V2 AOKIJI taking on the Kid Forest. If you guys did enjoy this one, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's shout out to Christy.